Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Game Changers, and this week we're going to be cooking an Italian country classic in Cotechino sausage, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be making it into a pasta dish. So in theory this is quite simple, but I can imagine this is an ingredient that most people have never really heard of. This was introduced to me by my friend and colleague David, and to be fair, I've never really looked back. It's one of my favourite things to eat now. But to give you a little rundown of what we've got to work with, we've got some pasta, we've got some passata, we've got a spare mini aubergine from my previous cook, it's a shame to waste, we've got some mixed beans, tomato puree, and we've got the Cotechino. There's not a lot that goes into this dish, but trust me, when it comes out, Clarky's going to be a new man. So I'm going to be cooking this today on my Kadai Fire Bowl with a Petromax Dutch oven. Now, we've got a nice wood fire going. I've got some Globaltic birch logs on there, which have been pretty much bedding in now for around about 15 to 20 minutes. So they are raging and ready to go. As we are only using this to boil, we haven't really got to worry about that dying down like we would normally with charcoal, or even if we were doing a normal wood fire, because we just want that residual heat to be licking the bottom of that Dutch oven and get us the nice temp. So what we're going to do is add this water so we can get this up to a nice rolling boil, and then we're going to add the Cotechino. So usually with a fire like that, you would have to wait for it to kind of bed down a little bit more, just so you don't burn the outside and keep everything else raw. You want a nice manageable heat. With that, obviously it's got a nice roar to it. I would say that is roaring fire right now. And again, we're not cooking directly over it, so that can just go on. And you've got to remember, this cast iron is thick, so we want that to heat up, and we want it to get to a nice rolling boil. So an aggressive heat on the bottom of that pan really isn't a problem for now. Okay, so Cotechino, perversely, doesn't come refrigerated. You can order it off Amazon, and it just comes out of the box like this. So I'm actually going to cook it in this foil bag, and in there it's a sausage that's essentially, again, I can never pronounce this. Clarky, help me. Charcuterie?
Well, I don't know either.
You say it how you say it.
Now you put me on the spot. I don't know.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie, I think that's how
Charcuterie, yeah, I'm good with that. This is essentially charcuterie that is sealed within pork fat, and then cooking it in this metal or foil case is going to enable us to render all that fat down, and it'll take about 20 minutes for this to cook all the way through. And then what we'll do is take it out of the water and cook the rest of the dish, and then re-add it, because when we cut this open, essentially that's going to be full of pork stock, so we're not going to waste that. So they use this as a seasonal dish, usually around about Christmas, the sort of autumnal festive times. There's a very good reason for that. It's because if you ate this every single week, every day, you would get gout and you would die. It's so rich. But I've never managed more than 3 slices of this, because it is so rich, and it's similar in the way that Wagyu beef, it's just so rich it almost has an effect on your body if you eat too much of it. I would say this is not far off. But it's rich, it's luxurious, and it's really tasty. So let's get this in the water, and then we can crack on with the rest of the cook. Okay, so all in all, this has taken about 30 to 35 minutes, give or take, to get the cotechino in the pot, boil the pasta, and put all the other ingredients in. This is super, super easy, and it's a proper family dish. So, what I'm now going to do is fish out the cotechino, take away the skin and the string, slice it, and then serve it with the pasta in a bowl so it's all fancy like. Oh, it's really hot. Oh God, it's so good. Okay, so I've taken the skin and the string off. None of that's edible. And then one thing left to do, gratuitous slow motion slice. This shows you how soft it is. Like, I'm not even gonna watch. It's just like butter.
So how do you know it's cooked? I mean, you obviously don't cook it to temperature.
I mean, you can. David always cooks it to 94 degrees, fall apart. But again, the packet instructions always say just not like 20 minutes. You can tell by feeling it,
yeah.
You know. But just to give you context on that, we've got 82 degrees, and that's just come out. So yeah, trust me, it's cooked. And again, with it being cured, you don't have to cook it quite as thoroughly anyway for it to be technically safe to eat. There you go. And you've got a proper family style Italian dish cooked on open fire. Now we've reached the final part of this episode, the most important part, and that is the eating. Clarky, get yourself over here, let's have a try.
So, if I've got to give it like an honest opinion to begin with, it looks like uncooked meat. It doesn't look very appealing. And that doesn't really sell it to you when you know the other kind of stuff he puts in his mouth. However,
fair.
I'm here
mate.
for one thing and one thing only, and that is to have my game changed.
I'm in a very special place right now.
That's just like a mouthful of flavour. It's like pasta. You can only taste the texture of the pasta. It's like the meat is just...
Yeah. It almost liquefies in your mouth, and it just turns into... You almost don't need a sauce. You could eat that with just pasta. And that would just be all the flavouring you need because it's so rich.
That's amazing.
Again, when you get something recommended to you by a chef as experienced as David, it's never going to be bad. Although he likes capers, and capers suck, so.
I'll be honest with you, I don't quite understand it. The complexity of the dish.
Yeah.
To say it goes to nothing in your mouth sounds a bit underwhelming, but it's the opposite. It's like...
Do you see what I mean about the richness there? You couldn't sit there and eat a whole cotechino to yourself.
I could try.
I mean, we'd give it a bloody good go. But like, I've just had 2 pieces and already I feel like, good. Because they are quite fat heavy. Again, if you're going to cook it to temperature, we're going for like 94, 90, 93, 94, fall apart, and you'll just really melt that fat. And that's, yeah.
Beautiful, absolutely amazing.
Okay, game changed?
Game changed.
Yeah.
I do think it looks like raw meat. I don't think it looks particularly appetising.
No.
It looks like posh spam.
Yeah, fair. Or it's Italian, so
Didn't you just say, I've just
spumette.
eaten 2 pieces, I couldn't eat any more?
I'm not going to eat on camera.
There's, I don't know whether it's a theme, but through the videos there's a lot of stuff that I eat, and I always say it'd be really nice with some bread and butter. That'd be fucking lovely with some bread and
You
butter.
really would. It's like meat flavoured butter, isn't it?
I'm gonna have another piece. I don't know what the pasta adds to it, to be honest with you.
It's just to make it a full dish. I always feel like, especially for something like this, if we made an episode and it was boil in the bag, put out, put on board, eat, it's a bit underwhelming, isn't it? So I like to look at it as like a whole dish, because that pork fat that you get from inside the bag is the perfect base for your pasta sauce. So even if you, to be fair, even if you take the cotechino out, just eat that on its own and then eat the pasta for your lunch tomorrow. Which you're more than welcome to do.
You're getting all the flavour. And then the thing of it is, like we said before, I think in this episode or another one, about different ways you can cook these dishes. You don't need to do them outside, but cooking it on the Kadai with the open fire in the Dutch oven, it just felt so much more involved and I think homely, you said, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a particularly nice day today, and it was nice to have that fire going and to have this beautiful dish at the end of it.
You could swap me for, you know, a 70-year-old Calabrian woman and it'd feel pretty authentic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what a Calabrian woman is though, but yeah.
God, these uneducated northerners. Italian.
I fucking hate beans though. I don't like the beans.
Fair enough.
I've only had like one in a mouthful, but no, amazing.
Okay, one more. And I'll get gout and it's okay. So, guys, there we have it. Cotechino, pasta. Can't really say much more than that. Clarky loved it. I love it. This is a spare plate that I'm now going to go off and absolutely devour. So, if you want to try it yourself, get yourself on Amazon, search Cotechino. We'll put a link below the video. Give it an order and just get creative with it, and don't forget to tag us at the Friendly Fire Collective with your creations. So don't forget, follow, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and drop a comment below what you think about Cotechino.